Hey everybody, today we are going to do a twist on the classic collage. So first you need to decide what your design is going to be. I drew a picture of a mountain here, and then you can trace it onto a piece of tracing paper. If you don't have tracing paper, you can tape your image to a window and then just use regular computer paper to trace over like that. Once you have your traced image, you can go ahead and cut out those traceries into each section. And it's a good idea to keep your image fairly simple. You can't go crazy complicated, or the pieces just become too tiny and hard to work with. It's a good idea to label your parts so you remember which colors need to go where and which parts fit together, and you end up with sort of a tracing paper puzzle of your image. Now, I've already gone through a bunch of magazines and found just big pieces of color, and this is something you could do ahead of time, or once you have your image, you can just grab your magazines and find the colors that you're looking for. And then I'm just taking a glue stick and tearing the paper into smaller pieces and sort of just sticking them down in a random pattern that feels like it looks nice to me. It's sort of whatever looks good to you. You can use things that are identifiable. There's some jeans in this image, or you can just find pieces of color that are all just big blocks. You're just trying to get an area to be a random assortment of different blues for this part of the sky, or whatever area you are looking for. I keep my template that I had, my original drawing, on hand so I can lay stuff out as I make it, see how the colors are looking together, make sure I don't forget what piece goes where. For the sun, I try to do it in horizontal strips, sort of like a sunset pattern. It's really kind of up to you. However you want to make it look will be awesome. You can even use just big blocks of text. If you find it ends up being sort of a gray from a distance, the black printing on white paper. So I'm using that for the bright side of my mountain. It doesn't really matter what the text says. As always, I have a piece of paper down so I don't get my tabletop all sticky, although I will end up getting some glue everywhere because that's just the nature of the beast. I decided to go with a pinky purple combination of colors for the background circle. Again, you can see some things. There's a Raisin Bran ad that got in there. There's I think a perfume bottle and some text, but it all ends up being just purple when it's all put together. So it doesn't really matter what your images are. Of course, doing a collage, you can always do your traditional collage where you pick out cool images and use the images themselves as the pieces that you're gluing down, but I thought we would do a twist on it because there's not much I can tell you about doing that. That's just basically find pictures you like and stick them together in a fun way. I'm going to cut this circle out and put it onto a backdrop. That I'm just going to do big strips of blue because I like blue. I think it looks good. And then I realized that the purple and the blue look pretty close to each other, so I'm going to do a black background right behind the circle. So I'm just gluing pieces all around on the back of the circle that I cut out. and then trimming it down so it's a slightly bigger circle, and then gluing that on top of my background. Now for finishing touches, grab your Mod Podge. If you don't have Mod Podge, Elmer's glue works just fine for this. And we're going to paint it all over everything. If you find little spots that are coming up, little edges that aren't stuck down all the way, brush underneath and stick it down. And there's your collage. I hope you try it. Have fun.